Kokori joins us as a Public Affairs Analyst looking at security. Good morning, and thanks for joining us. For some experts, they've been looking at it as a people's theme as well, that we all should be able to join the security agencies in the fight against insurgents. What can you tell us, knowing full that you have also been following the trend?
Obviously, security is all about the people, because no matter how you look at it, the people are very important when it comes to security. Because in such a situation as insurgency, especially the new tactics that is being used by Boko Haram, going away from the conventional warfare to asymmetrical warfare, which is more about isolated bombings and all that. It's quite hard for even the security forces alone to be able to deal with that, because you need intelligence, and intelligence is all about information. And information obviously comes from the people, whereby you need to try and see how you can notice strange people or strange happenings around you, because these people disguise amongst people to commit these atrocities. So, but at the same time, the people cannot do much if the government and the agencies do not give them things and ways and means for them to report, such strange happenings. And I know that in Nigeria, it's quite hard for you as an individual to pick up your phone and make a call to security forces, especially when, even now that they are trying to do such things, the numbers are so cumbersome. You have a number that is so long, and, most of them are not even free calls. So I think we should now start thinking as a people and as a government on how we can make it easier for the people to be able to report such occurrences. Start thinking about short numbers. That is maybe just one number, that is an emergency number that anybody can just call. And it has to be free as well, where you can report such.
Before we get to the point of calling, what should the people, the citizens, be doing? We live in clusters, we live in estates, we live in tiny communities. What should they be doing in those kind of situations? What kind of mindset should the people have? Before you even talk about making the call, what's the mindset that the citizenry should have as regards security?
The mindset obviously should be that we should be concerned about ourselves. You understand? And I think Boko Haram, this insurgency, is something that everybody in Nigeria right now, no matter where you are, would actually know about it. And I don't think Nigerian citizens are people who would want to see their fellow human beings, die. So our mindset should be a situation where we need to try and make sure we try to notice things around us. That's more or less what the people can do. The people can do more than that. You have to just make sure that anything that is strange, maybe strange persons, strange activities, you report it. I don't think that people can do way more than just giving information.
But there is also the element of fear, the mindset of fear. What happens to me when I put a call through? Won't I get arrested as a suspect? How did I get? Because you know what obtains. The security agents might think I'm part of the Boko Haram or one of the insurgents. Then there's also the fear of, okay, if they absorb the information I have to offer, who protects me? What happens to the mindset of fear?
That's left for the government and the security agencies to do a lot of, enlightenment for the people, so that the people realize that, when they come up with this information, they are safe. And they should also not just say it, but also act it. Because a lot of Nigerians obviously don't have trust in the security agencies, especially the police, and so a lot of people feel that you give information, they will also pass those information to the people that you are actually reporting. So we need to try and reorientate the minds of the people. It's a whole lot of information that needs to go out, and how are this information also processed is also important. It's not just getting information, but processing those information and make sure that investigations are carried out. Just like what happened recently, that they gave a warning with regards imminent attacks in Abuja. For me, I think that's quite important. Even if that information is not 110% correct, it's better to be safe than sorry. So at least people will be more careful with the way they go about their business.
How best can the government orientate or reorientate?
I think we have the National Orientation Agency, which to me I don't think they're doing much.
I was going to ask you
how
much of
they?
orientation
Yes.
have you gotten from the National Orientation Agency?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That's exactly the major problems we have in Nigeria. The fact that we create institutions and those institutions don't do exactly what they are set out to do. We need to start running Nigeria like a project where timelines and deliverables are set, and people need to make sure that they check those timelines and deliverables. Because we have the National Orientation Agency. To me, they're almost moribund. They're not doing anything. The only time they come out to do something is when it's towards elections, and it's like they are a body that is part of the political party. But I'm hoping that this government would change a whole lot of things, and try to make sure that these agencies actually do what they are set out to do.
That staying with orientation and all of that, I asked a question about living in clusters and what the people can do. What about reorientating themselves, as in talking to themselves, sharing information about how to see these things? When we had the last guest, Sulaiman asked a question about how to describe. I mean, I see someone, I see Sulaiman. How do I describe Sulaiman to you so that you haven't seen him, but the moment you see him, you're able to say, okay, this is the description that Neota gave me. How about that from the citizen's point of view?
Yeah, but you have to also realize that the majority of Nigerians, unfortunately, are not educated. So let's not look at it from...
The majority?
Yeah, it's obvious.
When you talk about education, are you talking about going to school, getting a certificate, or education in a specific term? School
and also exposure. How many Nigerians are exposed? If you look at the percentage, people like you and I are the minority, unfortunately. So even many of these people, okay, take for example, this insurgency is mainly in the Northeast. How many of the people, the masses in the Northeast, are educated? So you need to be able to even orientate them in their language so that they can, and you need to also let them know how to describe these people. Because a lot of them don't even have the exposure, like you and I, to even be able to take such actions, even if they realize or find out something that is strange. So it's a whole lot of things. We have to try and change the mindset of our people. It's a whole lot.
Mindset is very key here. What comes to mind, again, you look at the Paris attack and you see how the people were able to pull together across the continent and even across the world. The entire Europe came together on that single attack or attacks in Paris, to the extent that we also felt it here in Nigeria. A lot of people have been asking, how can we sustain or borrow that kind of unison in fighting the insurgents here in the country? We have seen so many kinds of campaign, like the Not In My Name campaign that is out there. What is it that the people should be able to do here in the country to help in the fight?
If you look at the Paris attack and how it was responded to by the people and the government, you need to realize that technology played a whole lot of massive role in that. Take, for example, a simple thing as internet access. How many people have internet access here? In those countries, you find out that they have, when these things happen, they come up with identity of the people, the masterminds, and they circulate all these pictures everywhere. We don't even know our people. Most of these guys who commit suicide bombing and all that, how many of them have we identified? You understand? After they've killed themselves. You know, because when you can identify them, then you can circulate information, you can look for their families, people that they associate with. That way you can link, you know, the activities, maybe the last couple of weeks or months, that can maybe direct you to somebody else that would have a link. You understand? Unfortunately, we don't invest in such technology. CCTV cameras and all that, we don't have them, you know, in places. You know, so it's quite hard, it's difficult. That's why this insurgency now, the level it's at, this, you know, suicide bombing and isolated cases and stuff, you know, it's quite hard to deal with without technology and intelligence. And that's why I'm a bit concerned about the deadline that was given, you know, the December deadline. It's a fantastic thing for the president to actually give a deadline and give the security agencies, you know, something to work towards. But I don't think it's something that is achievable for it to be ended completely. It will reduce, which we've seen that it's actually reduced, you know, but it's going to be quite hard for it to be wiped out.
You have a word for the military fighting this war?
I think we just need to give them our support, because it's a massive job they're doing out there, you know, especially when for a long time, you know, defense budgets have been mismanaged, and our military have not had the kind of equipment and support that they should have. So these guys are basically fighting a war without being completely equipped. So I doff my hat for them, and you know, I want to encourage them for them to actually continue the fight, and Nigerians should give them all the support, because everybody that dies, you know, at the end of the day, we're all brothers and sisters, you know, no matter where they are from. So we should give them their, you know, our support and try to encourage them. And the government should also do the needful and do the things that they're supposed to do.
What about the police in this role of the police?
The police? The police is very key, you know, and that's why I'm a proponent of state police, because I believe policing should be more community-based, you understand, because it's harder for somebody to come from the north or from Edo State to Lagos to understand the terrain and its people. You know, it's easier for people from the community, you know, to police themselves because they know themselves. You know, so I think the government should start thinking and looking at modalities to actually move towards state policing.
Kiwe Kokori, Public Affairs Analyst, thank you for spending time with us here on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, it's a wrap on the show today, and so far it looks like an all-inclusive fight against insurgency in the country, that of the police, the military, as well as the people. They want to see a stop in all of that. Many thanks for watching. We'll be here counting down and giving the support to the Nigerian military, and we do hope that everyone should be on the same page with them. They say when you see anything suspicious, put a call across and see what you can do to save your community. I'm Sulaiman. I'll later see you again.
I'm Nell Tide. We have a good day.
Have a very wonderful day. I'm Imana Amawe.